Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Today and tomorrow, guys, we are talking about two eating mistakes that I did in my life for sure, that a lot of my clients do or did before they came to me, and that's why they came to me, because they did that and that didn't work exactly, and that didn't work for me. It doesn't work for no one long term. And long term meaning anything but those few days of enthusiasm when you decide like, oh, I'm gonna go on this crazy 1000 calorie diet and everything's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna be eating one meal a day and I'm somehow gonna just power through it no matter how hungry I get. But those things, again, except for like first few days, they don't work, and that's why the results don't last. It's not that the approach doesn't work. No, it works. You can starve yourself and lose a lot of weight really fast. But can you really? If you can, and somehow you can maintain that momentum and do that, and then switch to a more long-term solution, and you already achieved your ideal weight because you can do that, well, congratulations, you are 1% of 1%. I could never do that, and none of my clients could do that. Again, that's why we started working together on long-term lifestyle changes, one step at a time, one doable action at a time. So what are those two mistakes that I started with that I believe everyone needs to be aware of and understand that this doesn't work for human beings trying to eat healthier, to have a healthier lifestyle, to feel and look our best? So what are those two mistakes not to do? Today we're talking about just one of them. Number one is caring more about calories than about the quality of foods. So let me share with you a story. The other day, I was doing some grocery shopping with a friend of mine, really smart guy, PhD in mathematics, and he got this olive oil when we were looking for healthier fats to cook with. And he's like, oh, I always use this sprinkle bottle that allows you, to use the least amount of olive oil possible on your food. He's like, I don't want to eat all these excess calories. I want to stay slim. And then when we were in a cereal aisle, where all these breakfast cereals, he picked up the most sugary ones. Well, it's not like it was the most, but it was, average cereal that has a lot of sugar. And he had no problems with buying that. He didn't say anything about that. For him, this was the thing that will allow him to stay lean, thin, in shape, and also eat healthy. And in our diet culture, or in our eating culture, in our society, somehow we decided that all fat is bad and fattening. Fat makes us fat. Sounds logical, sounds simple, only it doesn't work that way exactly. Just because you eat blueberries, you don't become blue. So just because you eat fat, you don't become fat, even though we do have in English language the same exact word for the fat in our food and the fat on our bodies. In some cultures, they didn't have that. But anyhow, again, just because you eat oranges or blueberries, you don't become orange or blue. The same way you don't become fat just because you eat fat in other foods. Actually, some forms of fats, like for example, omega-3 fatty acids in fatty fish, they are almost impossible for the body to turn into energy. The body uses them for structural purposes, like to build in our cell membranes to improve the fluidity of cells and improve the communication between our cells. So different molecules of fats have actually quite different properties on our health. And definitely it doesn't work like that your body gets fat and put it into storage again. Blueberries, so when you eat blueberries, you don't become blue, so you don't become fat just because you eat fat. And yes, a gram of fat has more than twice the calories of a gram of protein or carbohydrate. But that doesn't mean, again, that fat has that effect on our metabolism that we get fat. Actually, when we don't eat enough fat, we stay quite hungry. Our hunger hormones are elevated and we tend to eat more anyhow. And so we end up eating more, not of the best foods. And that's how very often what contributes to us putting on extra fat tissue, increasing our weight, not in the way that we want. And then so we care about fats and not for sure eating, God forbid, eating too much olive oil. Even a spoon of it is too much, apparently. We just need to sprinkle it on our food. And then by the bowl, we eat the sugary stuff, the sugary breakfast cereals. And that's just one example. You can take your croissant with sugary coffee drink. You can, by the way, if your coffee has some syrup in it, like coffee with hazelnut or vanilla syrup, that probably has sugar in it. If your coffee has some vegan coconut or almond milk in it, that probably has sugar in it. So just make sure that you're not consuming sugar with every single meal of every single meal, every single item, even your salad dressing. If it tastes sweet, that's probably sugar in it. So anyhow, guys, so that's the mistake. We are afraid of one of the healthiest foods on the planet that people who live to 100 and more eat across the globe, like centenarians, those people who live essentially disease-free till very old age and then they just die. So they almost drink olive oil by the liter. So on average, they consume a liter of olive oil a week. A liter is about how many calories? I believe it's 9,000 calories. So every week they consume 9,000 calories in olive oil. So we are afraid in our culture of one of the healthiest foods on the planet that is proven by science that fat, olive oil, is predominantly monounsaturated fat. We are afraid of that, one of the healthiest foods on the planet, but we are okay with eating bowls and bowls every morning of that sugary stuff that is proven to be one of the worst things you can do for your health. Like, eating more sugar is one of the worst things you can do for your health. And somehow we decided that the calorie aspect of it was more important. But again, calorie aspect only on paper. It's only on the package it says, the cereal has that many calories per gram, and because it's low fat or no fat, it's much lower in calories than, let's say, olive oil. But guys, the calories on the package is not what matters. What matters is what we end up eating by the end of the day, every day. And a lot of people, I was one of those people who are trying to stay low fat or no fat, consuming as little fat as possible. Those people, I was one of those people, we end up being hungrier and we end up eating more stuff, not less, feeling hungrier and eating even more, and eating not the best stuff, the stuff that actually is proven to increase obesity in humans. So processed sugars, added sugars, in a form of either sugar from beets or cane or any kind of liquid sweeteners like honey, or sugar in the form of processed carbohydrates like white flour in your croissant or any sorts of cookie or pastry. That is also a different kind of added processed carbs, and it's almost identical to powdered sugar in its effects. So we are, in our culture, afraid of eating this healthiest food on the planet. Again, that people who stay disease-free, lean, without obesity, without degenerative diseases, this food that those people eat into their hundreds of years of old. So we are afraid, even though real life shows that those people are the healthiest and the leanest. So we are afraid of this food, and instead we go for that sugary cereal that actually all studies show contributes to obesity in people, and also diabetes, and also bad cholesterol profile. Yeah, sugar actually changes what kind of cholesterol you have in your blood, and also how damaged your arteries are, and how much clogging is happening. So that's all sugar, bad sugar, processed added sugar, not olive oil for sure. So where did that happen? Where, guys, have we fallen for this bullshit when we count calories and we don't care where those calories come from the healthiest foods, one of the healthiest foods on the planet, extra virgin olive oil, or from a bowl of cereal? Or we, instead of eating fatty fish like salmon or mackerel or sardines that are so amazing for our health on all levels, but it's quite high in calories, yeah, because there is this healthy fats. And so instead of that, we go for some white fish, because it has low calories, not that white fish and unhealthy, or we go for some fat-free, low-calorie yogurt bullshit that is not actually yogurt, that is some weird substance that doesn't even have live bacteria anymore, but it has no fat and low calories, and we go for that. And then we wonder why we're always hungry and our hair starts falling out. And that's why, because we eat fake foods and foods that on the package says less calories, and then we don't get what we need, and we're not eating the healthiest foods, so they have a little bit more calories, and we end up eating more, being hungry, losing our hair and our health, and then we get so hungry that we start eating everything inside, and that's how we get all the weight back and more. So that's the mistake, guys. Going seemingly with the obvious, like less calories is less fat on our body, but that doesn't exactly work that way, because food works not like you eat blueberries and you become blue. It doesn't work like that in our body. Our body metabolizes and interacts with food, and the end result is not the amount of calories we see on the package. The end result is how it affects our health and our behavior long term. The end result is in quality, not calories or the amount of fat that food has. By the way, guys, have you thought about that idea or that fact that fats in our foods are actually essential? So if, for example, for some weird reason, you decide to not eat a gram of fat and go completely fat-free to lose fat, being on that kind of diet, your health gonna start to deteriorate very fast. Anything from your skin to your mood to your hair to your digestion to your energy levels. So all of that is gonna go down the hill if you decide not to eat fat, and you're going to be super, super hungry. And if you continue not eating fat, then you can actually die. That's how essential fat is. It's every cell membrane in our body is made of cells. Any hormone requires fats to be made. Fats are so important for everything. Our cells need fats to communicate between each other, because we need certain fats to, again, put into the membranes of our cells to make them fluid, to make communication possible. And hormones are made of fats and so many other things. We need fat for a lot of things. So fat is essential. And if you skip it, there are going to be very bad consequences. Weight loss wise also, yeah, you might initially lose a lot of weight, but then there is no way you're gonna maintain it, and you're gonna gain it all back with surplus. And if you don't eat a gram of added sugar for your entire life till the rest of your life, nothing gonna happen. In fact, you only will look and feel better. So realize that fact, that fats are essential. Without them, you're gonna die and suffer. And sugar, if you never eat a gram of sugar ever again, added sugars, I'm not talking about fibers or naturally occurring carbohydrates, I'm talking about added sugars and sweeteners in any of the forms. So if you don't eat that ever again, your body will and brain will thank you for that. So please do realize that when we eat blueberries, we don't become fat, or we don't become blue. And so when we eat fat, we don't become fat, because also fat has different variety of different properties depending on what kind of molecule that is, what kind of fat that is. And the only bad fat is the fat made in a factory, fake, processed fat that was not created by Mother Nature. So that's the only kind of bad fat. And also fats that were extracted and not properly stored. Those can also be bad. But fat in whole foods is always good for you. And added sugar is always bad news for you. So realize that fact, and please do not do this mistake thinking that calories is what matters the most. Calories still do matter. The amount of energy still does matter for weight loss, but that's not the most important thing. Especially, you want to ask yourself that question. Am I interested in long-term results, in results that I get to keep? If you are, calories is not your first priority. Your first priority is to change the quality of food that you eat and go for olive oil, not sugary cereal. If you ask me, you should sprinkle not olive oil, but your cereal. That olive oil you should consume in normal quantities, and your cereal you should just throw it out or sprinkle it if you need to. And go for fatty fish, for whole fat, natural, real with like bacteria yogurt instead of that fat-free, whatever bullshit that looks like yogurt, but probably already many days already is not. And you'll be blown away, guys. You're going to start seeing results right away. Maybe they're not going to be as dramatic as 1,000 calorie diet on fat-free shit, but they're gonna be consistent, and you get to keep them, because you're not gonna get that hungry for all the food while trying to eat the less amount of calories being on some fat-free bullshit diet. So guys, make the choice whether are you committed to quality or caloric bullshit. Are you committed to long-term results or fitting in your dress for a Christmas party? What do you want? What are you committed to? Decide that. And if you are interested in long-term results that you get to keep, if you are interested in health, in vitality, in great hair, great skin, great performance, great looks, and amazing mood and energy levels. So if you are interested in all of that, your choice is olive oil, fruit, vegetables, fatty fish, full fat, yogurt, and kefir, not all this fat-free bullshit. So I'm sorry if I said bullshit so many times and I just said it again, but that just says that's what it is. And we need to educate ourselves better, so we don't think that we need to sprinkle olive oil and we can freely eat that fat-free breakfast cereal. So we need to do a better job educating people. And please do share this podcast with those people who need to understand this a little bit better, that quality of food is always more important. Help people to understand that better. Also set example by using your olive oil not with a sprinkler but with a spoon, a tablespoon. What else? Just help people to understand this better. Help me out. Let's create a better world where we don't need to sprinkle olive oil, but also where we don't have all this fat-free stuff that does not contribute to our health or happiness. So that was mistake number 1, guys. Quality over calories. Real food over fake fat-free stuff. And real life results that last versus results from some starvation diet for a week and then getting it all back again with surplus and health problems. That's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to share this episode so we have more food educated people in our society, so we change our food system together by making better choices much faster. So re-listen, share this episode, make better choices. Stay tuned tomorrow, where we're going to discuss the second most deadliest to long-term results mistake that a lot of people do and did. I also did it. So stay tuned, and till next time, as usual, guys, eat better daily.